A story 10 years in the making has come to a close. Final Fantasy XIV's latest expansion, Endwalker, wraps up so many pieces of a larger puzzle. That includes this man, Zenos, a controversial villain that many considered poorly motivated, no real personality, one-dimensional. But Zenos is a misunderstood guy. I did a video before Endwalker's release diving into his history and what drives him as a character. Go watch that video before you get into this one. Now, I will concede that Zenos lacked what makes some of Final Fantasy XIV's villains so compelling, and I was hopeful the writing team would bring Zenos' story to a close again in an interesting way, and what we got is fantastic. Let's dive deeper into Zenos' part in Endwalker, and a massive spoiler alert to anyone who hasn't finished the expansion story. We'll be going through all of it, so you've been warned. I'm going to gloss over a good chunk of what Zenos does leading up to the final chapters of the expansion. These events aren't that important in the grand scheme of things. Now, when we last saw Zenos, he reclaimed his body from the Ascian Elidibus. He killed his father and plunged Garlemald into chaos. The rogue Ascian Fandaniel approaches him and proposes an alliance. Here's the plan. Gather Aether inside the lunar towers to send to the main tower in Garlemald. Use all of that Aether to fire at the moon, breaking the ancient seal holding the most powerful primal of all, Zodiark. Fandaniel even offers Zenos the chance to absorb Zodiark's power to use in the ultimate battle against the Warrior of Light.
You shall come to me, all roiling rage and rancor. And the stars shall bear witness to our final contest.
Zenos' motivation is very straightforward. The Warrior of Light is the only person he's ever felt a connection with. He's always been so much stronger than anyone else. Zenos goes from dismissing the Warrior in their first fight to hungering for a battle where they are equals. Zenos refers to the Warrior as his only friend multiple times in the story. Not conventional friends, but someone who makes him feel alive. To Zenos, life is dull and meaningless unless his life is on the line. The Warrior is the only person who can do that. The Empire, his own family, those people mean nothing to him. No one understands Zenos like the Warrior does, even if our hero doesn't quite see it that way. This aspect of Zenos' character is something some folks take issue with, but it's an incredibly important piece of Endwalker's story, but we'll come back to that a little later. Zenos shows up again during your first trip to Garlemald. The Alliance just brought much of the Empire's remaining soldiers and people to their camp. It seems like a positive turn, until Fandaniel shows up and whisks the Warrior away. You wake up to an elegant meal atop the Tower of Babel. Zenos is there too, but he doesn't say much. Fandaniel uses Allegan technology to pull the Warrior of Light from his own body and put his soul inside a nameless Garlean soldier. As for Zenos, he's in control of your body now and heading straight for the Alliance camp. The Warrior literally has to crawl his way back to stop Zenos from killing Alice and Gratia. The body switch expires and Zenos promises he'll see his friends soon. So what was the point of this exercise? Well, Zenos wants the Warrior to bring all his fury and anger against him.
All your hate, all your rage, you will render unto me.
The Scions ascend the tower, slay the primal anima, and confront Zenos and Fandaniel. The villains have what they want, and fire the Aether from the tower straight to the moon. All but one piece of the seal breaks, so Fandaniel and Zenos teleport to the moon to finish the job. The Warrior gives chase, but despite their efforts, Zenos breaks that last seal and sets the primal Zodiark free. The Warrior is ready to fight, but there's a change in plan. Fandaniel merges with the Primal instead, not Zenos. This is so he can destroy the Primal's heart when he's gained enough control, and that's Fandaniel's true plan. With Zodiark gone, the final days will commence, bringing about the destruction of the star. This should come as no real surprise, but Zenos doesn't really care. He initially challenges the warrior to settle their unfinished business on the moon, but he recognizes that the end of the universe is a pretty big distraction. So Zenos steps aside, urging the warrior to stop the final days. In the meantime, he'll be finding new ways to gain strength. This further reinforces how important this battle is to him. He wants the warrior at his best, with nothing else to interfere. Zenos is more than willing to wait until that can happen. Zenos shows back up during your second trip to Garlemald, destroying one of the abominations, but don't be fooled, he didn't do this to save the man. No, Zenos is just sharpening his skills, the appetizer before the main course. This leads to an iconic conversation between Zenos, the Scions, and Ulysses of the Imperial Army.
Would you be happier had I a good reason? What? If my motives met with your approval, would you no longer resent the outcome? If so, then perhaps a beast's skin would suit you better. Duty, honor, morality. All constructs of convenience when put to proof. Surely the war taught you how easily power becomes the tool of the self-righteous. How the people's justice was merely a means to their ends?
This line is a perfect representation of Zenos as a character, and it's a really important one. Zenos understands that people are hurt by the things he's doing. The Garlean Empire is no more because of him. Thousands have suffered, all because of his personal vendettas. Ulysses is seething before him because of everything that's happened. But Zenos counters with his belief about morality. He says people can justify their ends however they choose, and they would be right no matter what that choice is. The meaning in someone's life can only be determined and discovered by that person, no one else.
Perhaps you found meaning in living this way. I cannot deny you found strength. Yet if you only pursue your hedonistic pleasures and pay no heed to the plight of others, then no one will give you the time of day.
Ultimately, Alizé has the final word, leaving Zenos with that bit of wisdom to chew on. He'll never get what he wants unless he takes an interest in the struggles of those around him. She answers the question that Zenos has been stumped by since the story of Endwalker began. Why won't the Warrior of Light direct all of his passion and strength towards him? Why won't my friend make time for me? Alizé sums it up perfectly, but did Zenos really hear what she had to say? Let's jump forward a little bit to this brief scene atop the Royal Menagerie in Alamigo. This is the place where Zenos merged with Shinryu, clashed with his friend, and tried to take his own life upon defeat. Zenos takes some time to reflect on that previous conversation, everything he wants, and why it's always managed to stay out of reach. We leave Zenos to ponder that as the story progresses in Ultima Thule. Let's make another leap forward. The Scions have sacrificed themselves to pave the path for the warrior, the voices of friends echoing in their mind, pushing them forward. Ancients return to open the door to the very end. The warrior uses Azem's crystal to bring all of the Scions back. All that remains is the terrifying representation of life's futility, hopelessness, and despair. The Scions confront Medion's strongest manifestation, the Endsinger. Try as they might, the Scions are outmatched. The warrior knows he has to face her alone and sends their friends away. The Endsinger questions why the warrior would save them now if their friendship is what gives them their strength. The warrior refuses to back down. And then...
At the end of everything, I find you, my friend. I sought something in you once, as you did in me. I take it this is your prey. But why does it still live? Surely it is no match for you.
Finally, Zenos understands. Alisaie's words were spot on. Zenos realizes to truly get the focus of his friend, he will need to understand the struggle. So he took much of the aether left over from the Mother Crystal, transformed to Shinryu, and raced to the edge of the universe, all to help his friend. This moment evolves Zenos in a significant way. He's no longer just a chaotic force infatuated with our hero. He's now the perfect foil for Medion. Remember, she believes all life to be pointless. There's far too much suffering, sadness, and hatred. She believes she's doing mankind a favor, the greatest service, by wiping the universe clean. Zenos, on one hand, agrees that life is meaningless, but even he has that one thing that keeps him going. Someone as horrible as him, who hates every aspect of life, is a great representation of Heidelin's message. Remember what she said? In darkness, seek joy. That's who Zenos is. He's not just a bloodlusted maniac. He truly views the warrior as his only friend, and the only way he knows how to share the things he loves is through a battle where limits are tested. It's not just about the ultimate battle, it's the ultimate battle with us, because he wants to share what he loves, the only connection that has any meaning to him. The warrior, Zenos, other summoned warriors, and the Scions manage to put the Endsinger down for the count. The final days are no more. Medion sees the strength mortals have and recognizes she must give life another chance. Medion flies away, leaving only the warrior and Zenos.
You mean to return to the world where you are hailed as a hero. Hear me then. Not as a hero, but as simply you. As I learned in Alamigo, you are a formidable foe. Stronger than any I have faced. Against you, I need bring my all to bear. I need burn through the candle of my life. This is the sole pleasure I know, and it is the sole pleasure I have to share. And so I come before you to issue challenge and offer singular bliss. If you wish to walk away, I will not stop you. You value life. You do not burn yours save for reasons you deem worthy. Reasons such as those which brought you here. The salvation of a world and its people, the motives of a hero true. But there is more to you than that. You know this to be true. As surely as you know the thrill of pushing your body and soul to their limits. Of confronting ever mightier foes, dancing ever closer to the precipice, wondering if this will be the one to finally fill the void. Such pleasures you seek for their own sake, and no other reason. Is this not so, adventurer? Ha! Acceptance! At long last! The conflagration of our clash will scorch even the stars!
Acknowledgement indeed, not just for the warrior, but perhaps for us as players. Zenos represents much of what keeps us going. The next challenge, more difficult battles, the promise of treasures if we claim victory, a fight just for the sake of fighting. The two clash in the final duty of the story, pushing each other to the brink, somehow finding the inner strength to get back up, giving everything they've got. But it's the Warrior of Light who lands the final blow, bringing both to the ground.
Never have I understood those around me.
understood their obsessions. Besieged by their banality, the world is a mire of tedium and trivialities. But in these fleeting moments, there is a spark, blinding, brilliant, gone too soon. What of you, my mirror, born into this world, bestowed name, bid to seek out strife and adventure? Did you find fulfillment?
And with that, Zenos' journey seemingly comes to an end. Urianger later theorizes it was Zenos' willpower who brought the teleportation device to the warrior, a final act of friendship before passing on. And with his journey completed, Zenos becomes arguably the only villain in the Final Fantasy XIV story to get what they wanted. I hope this video into Zenos gave you some insight on how the character has really grown since the Stormblood expansion. He started as a pretty one-dimensional guy, but developed into the antithesis of the greatest threat to the star. Now, I said in my first Zenos video that I hope they took his character in a fulfilling direction, and I'm really happy with what we got. He has definitely become one of the best villains of the story, and I would love to know what you think. How did you feel about Zenos' ending? Be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and feel free to offer suggestions for future deep dives. I'll see you next time.